to an introduction to the Yogic Tarot system. I am Tam Dillon, I'm the creator of the Yogic Tarot system, and this is a clip that is to discuss what the Yogic Tarot is, its structure, how it works, and also a little bit about how the Yogic Tarot came into existence. So, what is the Yogic Tarot system? I'm sure it's a little bit obvious, but also a little bit not. So, the Yogic Tarot is essentially a fusion of traditional tarot and traditional tarot lessons and meanings fused together with core yogic philosophy based in the Yoga Sutras and what we know as classical yoga. So I've aligned philosophies from yoga with the tarot, and added to that is actual physical poses that you can practice with each card. So each card has, so the system of the Yogic Tarot is very much the same system and structure that you would see with a Smith Way tradition. So you have 78 cards, and each of those 78 cards has a very specific philosophy attached to it. So the Ace of Pentacles, for example, its philosophy is sthira, or the philosophy of stability. It then has a pose that you then practice in order to have a physical representation of the lessons of that card, and also a physical practice for the philosophy that you're looking to either understand or unpack or integrate within yourself. So each card has its core meaning, yogic philosophy attached to it, and then an actual pose that you can practice. The structure of the Yogic Tarot, as I said, aligns with the Smith Way tradition. So 78 cards, suit of pentacles, wands, cups, swords, major arcana, core cards, standard structure. How it is different from traditional tarot is it then has the yogic aspects added to the structure. So specifically, I've taken the koshas in the yogic philosophy system and I've aligned that to the structure of traditional tarot. So when we talk about the koshas, what the koshas are, and I do have an article up on my website, theyogictarot.com. There is an article on the koshas. I'll share a link just to go into a little bit more detail, because I'm just going to brush over the koshas quickly here. So the koshas are essentially the layers of the self. So if we think about a nesting doll, so take a nesting doll, and that very first outer nesting doll is the physical body, your suit of pentacles. The next body in is your energetic body, or the pranamaya kosha, and that relates to the suit of wands. Your next one down is the mental emotional body. I'll explain that in a second, and that relates to the suit of swords. So mental emotional body. In traditional tarot, if you're pretty familiar with the tarot, you'll know we have the suit of swords and the suit of cups. Your suit of swords relates to mental aspect, where we think, our mindsets, all of that, our knowledge. And the suit of cups relates to our emotions, matters of the heart, how we feel about things, that kind of stuff. The Yogic Tarot has broken that down into a little bit more of a deeper perspective. So in that mental emotional body, what we have is, I feel happy, I feel sad, I'm depressed, I'm anxious, I'm angry, I'm all of these core, almost reactive based emotions would sit in that realm. The way that we think about how we're feeling sits in that realm. So I think I'm unhappy, I think I'm depressed, I think I'm lost. It's where we intellectualize our feelings. That is the mind body, the mind emotional body. That's what that is, and that relates to the suit of swords. You then have the suit of cups, which relates to emotions, but what we're talking about here is more authentic, deeper, genuine emotions. Compassion, unconditional love, where we have an authentic feeling towards something. That's what we're talking about in the suit of cups. So when we're looking at relationship aspects in the suit of cups, we're looking at genuine relationships, authentic relationships, not these oh, I think I like this person. That's mental, emotional, body stuff. Your Suit of Cups and your Vishnu Maya Kosha, or what's known as your intuitive body, relates then to your intuitive aspects as well, which is also pretty standard in your Suit of Cups. It does relate to the intuitive aspect of the self. So Cups is very much more a, you know that you genuinely feel this way, or those intuitive feelings as well. So intuitive emotions, if you will. You then have the final little nesting doll, and that is what we call in yogic philosophy Atman, or the authentic self. With the koshas, that is the Anandamaya kosha, or the bliss body. And yogic philosophy often states that the bliss body is not something that we can touch and feel. It's not something that's tangible. Rather, the bliss body is something that we experience. And having experienced the bliss body, yes, it is an experience. What an experience it is. And what you're experiencing is being your true authentic self. So if you have at any stage in your life really have one of those moments where you're just so genuinely who you are, and you're just feeling so light and everything is just in this flow space, that's the bliss body. That's the experience of the bliss body. So the Yogic Tarot structure aligns with the koshas. It aligns with traditional tarot structure. You have poses that you practice for each card. You have a philosophy that you're looking to integrate with each card. And then you then have a lesson or a teaching with each card, which then comes from the traditional tarot aspect. How the Yogic Tarot has been presented, it's going to be presented as a very detailed guidebook. The guidebook is looking to teach you both all the foundational stuff in tarot. So you don't have to know tarot to work with the Yogic Tarot. You don't have to know yoga to work with the Yogic Tarot. You can literally pick up this guidebook and it'll take you from the core basics of how does the tarot work and how do you read the cards, to what is the 8 limbs of yoga and how do the 8 limbs align with the Yogic Tarot system. So the 8 limbs of yoga, I have got another article on my website for the 8 limbs as well. It breaks it down really nicely. I'll share the link for that too. So the 8 limbs of yoga aligns with the Yogic Tarot system. Your 8 limbs of yoga is classical yoga. That is the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. So the 8 limbs is the one limb that we're all familiar with is asana. Your poses, your physical practice of yoga, that is one of the limbs. You then have 7 other limbs that form the entire body of classical yoga. So for those who perceive yoga as getting into all these funky pretzel poses, there's a lot more to it than just stretching. So the guidebook looks to break down the entire 8-limb system, and it then integrates that into, shows you how that integrates with the tarot as well. So you don't need to be an expert in anything. You can be brand new to all of this. You can also be brand new to practicing the physical aspects of yoga. I've aimed to align poses with each card that are beginner friendly, or as beginner friendly as I possibly can. Because one of the things that I really want to bring through with the Yogic Tarot is that the yoga really is for everybody. There's so many props and variations and styles and teachers of yoga out there that we really can find a practice that works for us. And I feel that that's one of the reasons why I love yoga so much, and the tarot, is that both of these practices really meet you where you are. You can really mold them and shape them to fit you and what it is that you're needing. So I've aimed to make the poses as beginner friendly as possible, so that absolutely anybody can pick up the system and work with it. So how did the Yogic Tarot come into existence? So the Yogic Tarot is actually close to 3 years old already, and I've been working with the tarot for over 25 years in a personal and professional capacity. I read tarot professionally for well over 20 years before retiring to pursue teaching tarot to others. I would rather teach someone how to read for themselves than to just read for them. It's far more empowering. So I stopped reading to focus on teaching specifically. My yogic practice has been around for a good 15 years, my personal practice. In my professional capacity, I did my yoga teacher training back in 2021. It was a beautiful, hard, challenging, amazing experience that I did for 9 months. Beautiful journey. And over these 9 months, as we unpacked the Yoga Sutras, I just kept seeing these unmistakable similarities between tarot and yoga. Like, I couldn't dispute it. I could not ignore my 25 years of tarot knowledge and what was being taught to me in the philosophy of yoga. Every time I'd be like, that's that card, it fits with it so perfectly. So about midway through my teacher training, I knew that I had to do the system. I had to sit down and put the system together. So midway through my teacher training, I started to align the cards with different philosophies and with different poses. And so the Yogic Tarot system started to take shape and come into form. Where the system is now, the guidebook is complete, or the first draft of the guidebook is complete, not the final draft. The first draft is done. The entire system has been built and structured, and it's all very well for me to sit and build this amazing system and be like, yeah, this is cool, this works, I think it's great. But until I've actually put it out there for others to look at the system and try the system and work with the system, will I actually know, is the system for everybody? Does it work for everybody? And how can I fine-tune the system so that it is accessible? As a teacher of any spiritual philosophy, tarot, Buddhism, any other philosophies that I teach, I always aim to make everything as simple as possible. I teach a lot of ancient, old-based philosophy, a lot of very heavy philosophy, and the Yogic Tarot is very heavy on the philosophy. But don't let that put you off, because I do teach with a style of making it accessible and making it relatable to the day-to-day world that we exist in. I understand that these texts and teachings that I'm teaching from and that I'm building the system from are thousands of years old. Life was very different back then. So I do modernize it, I do make it accessible, and I try to break it down so that it's as simple as possible. Because for me, the most important thing is that you're not trying to wrap your head around this mystical philosophy or mantra that I've put in front of you and you're like, what does that mean? I want you to be like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. Here's how I can apply that to my daily life. That's what I'm wanting to achieve with the Yogic Tarot. So I definitely welcome comments. I definitely welcome open discussion. Please feel free to leave your thoughts if you are watching the videos of the different cards and you're kind of taking some of the teachings out and you're practicing and you're kind of starting to work with the system. I would love to hear how that is going for you. If you're a practicing yogi, a yoga teacher, tarot master, tarot reader, or beginner to any of those, I would love to hear your thoughts and your input on the system. Like I say, I'm now presenting it to the world and seeing, does the system actually work? So, 3-year-old system, completely brand new to the world. I'm terrified and excited at the same time to be presenting the system. For me, I feel that it fits together really beautifully, and I feel that I've put it together and structured it in such a way that it makes sense, it fits, and it's accessible and easy to work with. So leave your thoughts, leave your comments, and there will be quite a lot of content coming out over the next couple of months to really introduce the cards. There'll be a lot of tutorial videos that explain to each individual card its philosophy, its aligning pose, how to work with that card. Other things you'll find on my channel is very specific tutorials around tarot, specifically how to work with the tarot. I'll start to be doing tutorials around yoga, the 8 limbs, the different aspects, different very specifics on different philosophies. You'll also find a couple of meditations, you'll find some mindfulness. So there's some really great content on my channel, but please do definitely leave those comments on the Yogic Tarot. I'm excited to hear what everyone has to say and think about it. And I'll be catching you in one of my next videos.